Hello, people of the internet. I'm the man with the plan, and welcome back to the Kilmac League. We're in week 8 now. We're churning through the weeks as they go. Kilmac Thomas and St. Agnes Athletic is the game that opens up this week. Louis Gallagher swing the ball in, and they're not quite finding someone, but it does eventually land at the feet of George Best, who's having a fairly eventful season, it has to be said. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the story of the season for St. Agnes. You know, they did have a very good win last week away to Domino's Pizza Zimbabwe, and it looked like they were going to have another chance after an uncharacteristically poor kick out from Ravidas found its way to Mr. Sheehan, but he couldn't do anything with it. So yeah, the loss of the brig is obviously hurting St. Agnes a lot. Like, they could deal with that clinical finish up front. St. Agnes were lacking, but George Best certainly wasn't when it came to clinical finishing. Like, that's a fairly clinical finish. You know, I should probably stop saying clinical. But anyway, yeah, it was that was really towards the end of the game, and there wasn't much hope then for St. Declan's. You know, they couldn't do much, and so that's the way the game finished, 2-0. Respectable scoreline for St. Declan's. You know, didn't get blown out of it, but like, you know, the result was never really in doubt. Now we move on to Dunhill Electrical Company and Greenway Rovers. Now, so Greenway Rovers, you know, every team kind of hopes to take points away from Dunhill when they go to the Camp Nou. But it was Dunhill who were on the front foot today. Osama bin Laden was going after just 4 minutes, an excellent cross in and the volley from him. But yeah, anyway, Greenway Rovers soon equalised thanks to that effort from Raoul. Yeah, so I think this is the only club that starts all three of its legend players. But anyway, yeah, they did get another chance, but they couldn't break the deadlock. So 1-1, yeah. So they do take a point. Dunhill will be happy with that, and yeah. So I suppose all's well that ends well. Now we move to Domino's Pizza Zimbabwe, who, as it was previously discussed, lost last week. Kyrgyz United did have a fairly enjoyable win last week over Byron Kilmeaden. But yeah, they started strongly. That was unlucky though. That was probably their best chance of the game. It was an excellent defensive interception. So yeah, Domino's Pizza Zimbabwe do kind of get the ball back on track. Kyrgyz United title challenge is hurt a little bit by that. So yeah, certainly a lot happened as a result of that. But anyway, then Atletico Sunflower Shop and Fire Station. Two teams haven't done a lot of winning. But yeah, Zidane opened the scoring, so I was surprised by this. I thought, you know, Fire Station would be much better. But anyway, Maradona with that finish, like, whew, how about that? Yeah, so this is certainly going down for goal of the season contender. I think, you know, he hasn't really lived up to expectations, but to be fair, like, he does do a lot of the work for the team around him. Like, I'd say if you did take him out of this, like, you know, they probably wouldn't have won a game this season. So yeah, like, it really is hard to measure his impact, but I would still say it's probably more than just goals, even though that is what we would probably expect of him. But anyway, yeah, moving forward now, and this is Fire Station's last chance to win the game, but they do have an overlap. They have two men there, and yeah, it really doesn't work out. No. So yeah. Anyway, now two teams that I forgot to obviously record the intro for: John Walters FC and AS Flavins. So yeah, these two teams, you know, it's obviously a fairly big gulf in quality. But Flavins did suffer that loss. I believe it was last week to Greenway Astros. Shocker was defeat. So they needed something to get them going. So Keane Mulhern scored that goal in the 21st minute. And yeah, John Walters FC didn't really get off the back foot for the whole game. So yeah, as you can see, it's another goal from Keane Mulhern. He's having a good game today. Sometimes it's Tracy Keane, sometimes it's Keane Mulhern. You know, that's the way it works. Hey, that's just the way it is. Yeah, so then Keane Mulhern puts to his striking partner Tracy Keane, and like, lovely finish, lobs it over John Walters, making it 3-0. It's a fairly comprehensive win, and they weren't done yet. John Walters actually did get a goal back here. So yeah, you know, I mean, it's fair to say, like, there's a good amount of attacking potential on this team, but yeah, I just think it's kind of counterbalanced by the sheer lack of defensive ability anywhere on this team. Yeah, so then Keane Mulhern just kind of passing it into the net, and yeah, 4-1. He's got a hat trick. It's a fairly comprehensive win. Now John Walters did try and get forward again, Like, to be fair to John Walters, they never gave up. But yeah, that's the way the game finished. Flavins not able to make another attacking chance, so it's 4-1. Flavins picking up where they left off in week 6. It's so leaving the disappointment behind them. Anyway, Kildisco and Kent's, two teams at the opposite ends of the league table. Lar Kent, as we all know, last few weeks, yeah, Jelly Pizza scored there. They are. I believe they have appointed a successor to Lar already. So there is going to be a lot of expectations on their shoulders. But I think, having looked at them in some tapes I have kept in my cupboard, there's certainly potential. Anyway, there's the man himself scoring a goal. So Lar Kent then got forward himself and blasted the ball into the bottom corner. Like, I'm gonna miss this man when he's gone. There's obviously, now he's wearing his number 19 this season, but usually he wears his number 26 now. Number 26 will be retired in honour of Lar Kent. No other player will wear that. Now Adolf Hitler gets through, and he's kind of just buried that. So 4-0. It's a fairly comprehensive win. Kents are rolling. Kents are just rolling through teams at the moment. Like, they are a team that definitely aims to obliterate the competition. But yeah, thanks to a defensive mix-up, Cheyenne Kelly for Kildisco does score that goal. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have made them wear such similar kits. Like, that's that was a mistake on my part. But yeah, anyway, I suppose it doesn't really make them that hard to tell apart. But yeah, that's the way it is. 4-1, good win for Lar. He didn't get a hat trick, no, but yeah, he did score the majority of Kent's goals. So anyway, yeah, now we move on to two very exciting teams, Portlock United and St Mary's Hurley. It's a fairly rough challenge, but Bernie Casey manages to stay on his feet and feeds it to John Milan. Bernie Casey, I don't know who that was, but that was Bernie Casey just there. But anyway, John Milan hits it and scores. A very good goal, it has to be said, very good movement from the St Mary's forward trio. But yeah, then huge ass on the wing. In acres of space, and he's got a man in the middle. Everyone can see that, and it's Bernie Casey, so there's obviously going to be a goal. 2-0, and it's still the first half, so Portlock had a mountain to climb, but unfortunately for them, they just weren't able to do it. That's the way the game finished, 2-0. Disappointing result for Portlock, but St Mary's back on track, so they'll like that. I didn't realise how small the brig is, actually. I should probably make him a bit taller. Anyway, moving on, Hrothgar, McDynamos and CF Dungarvan. Two very good teams. Two teams kind of resurgent. They're definitely hoping to turn the season around after poor starts. But anyway, Creation for Dungarvan was the first player to break forward, and though he couldn't score, and Tommy Harty initially couldn't score, like that's definitely going for dodgy goals. But Tommy Harty does eventually score, and I don't know what goes on here because the whole team ends up chasing him around, and it just kind of, I suppose we have to assume they got along. But anyway, yeah, Hrothgar McDynamos then getting through, wearing some nice swanky new alternate kits there, Hrothgar McDynamos. But yeah, goal there. Richie Power, he showed up for once. But yeah, now finally game of the week, Rainbow Hall and TFR Room 55. TFR really looking to get back on track. A promising start to the season, and it hasn't really been anything much else since then. So, but Paul Casey tried to get through in the final minute of the game, and he almost tackled the keeper, but yeah, 0-0. That's the way the game finished. Thanks for watching. I've been the man with the plan. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode of the Kilmac League.